Greetings everyone, this is Glenda and welcome to my Life is Good with Plant vlog. So what we will talk about today, this video today is about my baby finger. Actually this is just a follow-up video, like an update of my first video that I have uploaded a few days ago, which I have taken about 7 months ago. So when these babies are still young and just maybe one or two cuttings that I have given to me by my lovely daughter. Anyway, what we will talk about is my joys and my grief in growing this plant. Not a lot of grief though, because I have always been successful with like my stem cutting, my leaf propagation. It has grown successfully for me, and it has given me so much joy to watch it grow. So just to recap, we have spoken about the background of this plant in my first video, but I think the quality of the sound on that video is not that good. I have heard some feedback that they can't hear it, but I think it's just a matter of turning your volume up, because my volume here is really full blast. But anyway, let's just recap. So the soil that we have talked about on this is, it is supposed to be, or it must be gritty. um, Gritty, I mean well draining. So I used here in Australia we have readily available cacti and succulent mix, so I just use that instead of mixing my own. But if ever I run out, I'll just make some. So potting soil mix, but at least 30% of perlite and then 30% of either crushed granite, tiny pebbles, or sand. And then I'll put some compost on it. So, and then, yeah, you can just put other materials just to make it well draining. So, whatever type of small pebbles or sand that you have available in your area, you can just use that one. It's not really necessary that it's crushed granite or pumice, but I do recommend perlite because it makes the pot very light as well. Um, Pumice is very light, so, and also perlite. Anyway, that's the soil. When it comes to sun exposure or lighting, it does not require, or it doesn't like it to be exposed directly to the sun. Maybe 2 to 3 hours of morning sun will do, but enough lighting for this plant will really make the leaves um, colors grow, or it grows beautifully with enough lighting. So what I meant of enough lighting, so if you have like an area where it's covered, but the sun gets through, like the heat, like the light of the sun gets through, that's ideal for this plant. Like with mine, I'm here under a pergola. It doesn't have walls, so the sunlight comes through really nicely, and that's what it loves. And when it comes to watering, now that it's winter, I water it only once every 2 weeks, or maybe just once a week, depending on how much um, you water it. So it can last for 2 weeks that you will not water it. But I do recommend do not drown it. So maybe once a week is good, between 3 to 4, up to 5 tablespoons of water. Then on summer though, I'll water it twice a week. So it depends on how much you water it. But as I've said, do not drown it. So I would recommend between 3 up to 5 tablespoons of water, or if you're using a spray, just spray it up to 20 squirts on the bigger pot, and on the small ones, maybe 10 to 15, small ones, maybe 5. So do not water it from the top where the leaves and the stem gets wet, because if it gets wet, the leaves will become dark. It's got that discoloration that you might not like it. So I'll show you what I meant by the discoloration on the leaves. don't know if you can see it. See, yeah, it goes dark. And also avoid touching it with your finger as it leaves a white mark on the leaves. I think the reason for that being becoming dark or leaving a white mark because the leaves has got farina around it, or it's covered with farina. So that farina is something that will absorb the water and then will make it dark because it keeps the water there. So avoid watering by making it wet. So just water it at the base of the plant directly to the roots. And also avoid putting this plant in an area where there's a lot of traffic, like children running around or your pets running around, because the leaves, as you can see, is plump and fleshy, it's crispy, it can easily fall off just by slight motion. So that is the watering. And when it comes to fertilizer, I have used the slow release cacti and succulent mix that we have also available. My brand is Osmoco. That's what I've been using for a while. So in my first video, I've already shown it to you. So about maybe between 10 to 15 of those poles, depending on how often, but I only fertilize it once a month. So the smaller pots, maybe between 8 to 10, and 5 on the tiniest pot, like my new cuttings that I have, or my new leaf propagation that I have. And when it comes to taking care of these plants, about pests and insects, lucky I don't have any of that on these plants that I have. I never had any. So, but I have read that this is a favorite of aphids and mealybugs. So what you will do is just dab or dip a cotton pad with rubbing alcohol and just swipe it off, or remove it with that cotton tip or cotton bud um, wet with alcohol to remove that infestation. You will see it. It's just like a white colony. I've seen it on videos, other people's videos, so yeah. But if you can see that the infestation is quite severe, just cut that part and throw it away from these plants and from your other plants as well. But if it is really, really bad and you can see, you might suspect that it goes down the roots, just remove it entirely, replace your potting mix, replace it with a fresh one. But before you do that, you make sure that you wash the roots and dry it up properly, like at least 2-3 days of drying without exposing it to the sun. Just drying it up in a shaded area will be good. So the leaves on my first video I have mentioned is plump and fleshy. It's rounded, it's shaped, it looks like an almond confectionery, nice enough to bite, like an almond candy. So that's the leaves, and the stem is a bit hardier than the leaves. This plant full grown is about 20 centimeters, but I don't allow it to grow that long because, as you can see, the leaves are heavy. It tends to weigh down the plant and makes it bend. I have to put stakes on most of my plant during that period, but I now tend to just cut the stem of my plant and just propagate it. So you can see I put stakes on my plant because I don't like it how it bends. So I'm like training it to stand straight. So in a way, that's how you train your plants. I think you're aware of that. Just putting a stake on it. It's just funny that some of my stakes are just chopsticks and a plastic fork. During summer though, when I did my first video on this plant has got, one of these plants has got flowers. I don't know which one it is now, but because most of these plants have grown so much that I can tell which one had flowers before. So it's like It's got a stem and it's got bell-shaped flowers, pink flowers on it. So, so the leaves I have mentioned is very plump and fleshy and crispy that you don't want these in a heavy traffic area. And when it comes to propagation, if you really do want to propagate to multiply your plant, you can cut it from the stem and make sure both ends of the cut you will protect. The way I protect it is just dabbing it with cinnamon powder, and then do not expose it to the sun or any area where it can get wet, that cutting part. Also with the leaves, it's the same thing. You just make sure to protect it. Um, Allow it to dry for 2 to 3 days. Allow the wound to heal. Allow it to colors over before you plant it. So once it's all dried up, the leaves you can put it in. What I have here is my propagation tray, which is a takeaway container. Um, yeah, just make the soil moist, make your potting mix moist, and just lay it flat upside down. So these are about 7 months ago, and I have done some repotting as it has grown so much already. Anyway, if it does not get enough light, the plants will grow leggy. What I meant by leggy is the leaves grow far apart from each other. So you can see that there's a space, there's a gap in between. But when it's fully exposed to enough light, it will be happy and it will grow clumpy like this. And I like it clumpy, that's why I tend to cut it when it grows long. But with this one, I don't want to cut it, it grows so beautifully. I'll just leave it like that. Maybe I'll put some stakes on it just to guide it that it will stand. So, thank you once again for watching me and for following my vlogs about this baby finger, also known as Moonstone, scientifically known as Pachyphytum oviferum, which originates from Mexico. Anyway, it's grown around the world these days. I have seen vloggers from all over the world, Canada, US, Korea, Philippines, even here in Australia. It's not specific to our climate because I know Mexico is very warm, Philippines is very warm, but here in Australia we have 4 seasons. Right now it's really, really cold because it's winter. You can see my beanie on, my gloves on. I'm rugged up. You don't want to get sick. Anyway, wherever you are in part of the world, enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your day, or maybe you're still in bed because it's still dawn in your country. Enjoy your life there, and I hope you will watch me again with another video. When we do other plants like my sedums. This is my sedum mendicae, which I have also grown successfully, and I'm happy about because the growth of the other one has got really nice rosettes on it. It's just sitting somewhere, hung somewhere in one of my plant racks, but that's how it will grow. I don't think it's a trailing plant, but because I'm growing it like this, it's trailing so beautifully. We also have the sedum bronze delight. This is my sedum bronze delight, which is growing like crazy at the moment. So I have also successfully grown this, and it has given me so much joy. The colors that comes out, so beautiful. So yeah, if you would like to follow me again on my next video and join me and watch me again, that will be great. So guys, if you're nearby, close to me, see these plants have grown so much already. You wanna come down and grab some? You're welcome. Once again, thank you for watching. This is Glenda saying goodbye. Life is good with plants. Bye for now.